about chat. Let's look at the market. Happy Friday, everyone. Anything you guys want to discuss? I'm here. No worries. What's up, Kev? How are you, bro? That's right. This will probably be a slow day today. S&P. I mean, he tried to break out to the upside. Not bad, just chilling. Oh, I have to drink my coffee. Basically, the market broke out of the downtrend. It back tested, and now so it broke out. We're back testing, and now the market's just kind of consolidating. And I think it's just deciding whether, it's waiting for news essentially to come out. I think the market's just stuck here. So we could literally just stay in this range the entire day. I have to drink my coffee. We just need China and the US to talk and try to get a deal done. Market should rebound, but for now I think the market, like the news that the 90-day pause and working out deals with other countries. But then the China's the elephant in the room now. So who's going to initiate talks first? I think we maybe priced in a bottom, because now, if you think about it, we stopped, right? We stopped the 90-day. Now we're in negotiation phase. Like, I feel like that part of retaliation is over, and now it's just negotiating, buying time. The exception of China, which, I mean, eventually they're gonna have to. It's just two guys with big egos, not wanting, you go first. No, you go first. You go first. They want to seem weak, but that's just, I guess, their game. I'm assuming. When banks reported earnings, they were pretty good, but even the banks don't know what the outcome could be. But you can see a lot of even institutional investors, they were buying here when Trump initially only announced the 10%, and when it fell, that was when he was announcing the other reciprocal tariffs that went into place, and which were much higher than expected. The market tanked, and this is where they're just making deals, and just the pause right here, and now the pullback, and we're just waiting for China as well to come to the table, or somehow get both of them together. Trump says he wants a deal with China. China says he wants a deal too. But it's like, who's going to initiate it first? Who's going to call who first? Essentially. Let's see, Apple. These are places to nibble at, down here. Apple going green slightly, even with all this stuff. Apple's up. Market trying to go green here. Market trying to go green. So get the market internals. It is Friday, so just keep that in mind. Might be pretty slow today, being that it's Friday. But we had surprises on Friday as well. Fridays have been surprises. Let's see if I can get the market internals. Index watch. There we go. 142, 139 advancing, 360 declining. So more red and more down stocks and up stocks here. Market's still weak. Like you said, it is Friday. I'm not sure if people want to take risks going into the weekend. So we could just see a choppy market today. And even for going into Monday. Let's see. Any stocks you guys want to look at? Let's go to Nvidia up. Looks like tech is up. AMD. Apple fighting the trend as well. Let's see. What about the chips? Texas Instruments down. Looks like the semiconductors are down still. New lows on Texas Instruments. That's a gap down too. Wow. Yeah, a lot of the chip stocks are still getting sold off here. IT infrastructure is doing well. So you got Cisco, Oracle doing alright, Dell as well. So IT infrastructure holding up better than the semiconductors. Microsoft doing well. Google as well. Meta. Let's see. Oh, market's trying to go green. Market's going green. Which one? WHLR? HLR. Oh my gosh. That's not good. I don't know how the let me check out the REITs. Alexandria Real Estate. Oh shoot. I can't really read this. Yeah, really. REITs are still cheap. The good ones are on sale. Crop Castle, Tower, Hello Storage. Oh man. Still down to make that a package service, bro? Dude, man, there's a pack. Oh, there's a company that's by my house, dude. They pack and ship. So they pack stuff for the client, or they even go to the house to pack it, and then they ship it for them. Dude, the owner drives like a Ferrari, man. I saw him yesterday at the park by the Dollar Tree. It's funny because he has pictures all over, like on his business page. There's pictures of his cars and they're really nice for some reason. But it's a pack and ship place. Especially if we can help like the older folks, right? Like the lady reached out to me that she wants me to change her light bulb, but she's like, you know, she has like hip problems and stuff like that, so she can't really do anything. So I'm gonna help her free of charge, you know. And we can offer the services to the senior housing as well, bro. Think about it. Offering packing services for them. JP Morgan. Oh, all the banks. Oh, market's up, man. Market's up. Let's look at the market internals. I know they were weak earlier. Oh, they're getting strength now. I think we're like at 138 advancing. Now we're at 233 advancing. 264 declining. Bulls are trying. Bro, I'm down. Honestly, we can get a like 0% interest business credit card at her bank as well. We can open a business account together if you want. Again. I think I'll ask her again about the card. Let's see. Let's look at how's the NASDAQ doing? NASDAQ doing pretty good. Here we go. Pennant. This is this is like a triangle pennant here. That's not a bull flag. It's a pennant. So basically, it's coiling, and it's trying to decide where to break out of this range. So we can retest here. So either this will just chop around like this. If nothing comes, like if no news come out or nothing over the days, I think it'll just chop around in these areas until something happens. But I think the bottom is in because, like I said, the president has moved away from retaliating on countries to actually negotiating deals. So for now, I think the bottom is in. I think we've seen the lows for now. And like I said, I know he did mention he doesn't want the market to tank. So I think he is going to work on some deal that, you know, and not tank the stock market completely. And like I said, we just got to talk with China, or somebody has to talk with China. Get Elon Musk over there or something. I think instead, for the Chinese talks, I think he should get with the banks, with the U.S. banks, and large institutions, and private equity firms that have businesses in China, and just basically replace, once he gets to China, work with closer with, like JP Morgan, some large international company, like let's say like Dow Chemical, right? Get some of those guys in and just, talk with the president about how important China is for us in a way. And that way, basically a voice of reason. There needs to be a voice of reason. And I feel like they could help, you know. Not the current staff he has now when it comes to China, in my opinion. What do you guys think? So basically, when it comes to China, surround Trump with business leaders, especially the ones that have experience with dealing with having business in China. Like, that's my opinion. If we look at the technicals, I mean, oh shoot. Exactly, man. Exactly. If you look at the technicals, S&P, we're still oversold on the S&P weekly. This is, so there is a lot of room for upside. Even though we had this large move up, we're still down here at the very bottom on the weekly chart. Technically, we can grind slowly higher back up, right? Into the summer, maybe. Have a good year. Kind of how we bottomed here, like, what's this? Oh, this is when we were right here at 35.02, these lows. This is when we were, hiking interest rates. Like, almost every other week up, we were like, I felt like we were just raising interest rates and the market just kept tanking. And eventually the market just settled, right? It just kind of just like, whatever, right? And it just slowly grinded higher. And we made new highs. Been going up ever since, right? So the market I think it's going to do something similar again. Like I said, interest rates possibly are going down, and they have, and the market would just grind higher slowly. Like I say, we're going to get those deals done. There are going to be jobs back. Like, I don't think we need to have like every manufacturing type of job here. Like, we don't need to make shoes, right? Like, okay, but we don't have to make shoes or clothes, but yeah, bring other things back, like the chips for sure we need it. Like, bring back like the steel manufacturing, any type of metals commodity essentially, right? Bring back more industrial type jobs as well, making parts for different industrial companies, bring that back. It doesn't have to be all of it, right? Let's just have more of it, not less of it, but not take 100% of it back. That way it's kind of like you said, like an even playing field, in case something happens, like another lockdown, or we have someone that gets aggressive with us saying, oh, we're not going to sell you this and that, but we need to somehow, I think the only way the U.S., Trump, I think the only way to be heard or people to listen up is kind of to shock the system in a way. I think that's what he did. Because just to take him serious, I guess, instead of just like, oh, we're just gonna talk and soft voice. I think he wanted people to hear him, and I think that's what resulted in this shock. And like I said, Trump only has 4 years, and you got midterms and things like that. So it's not like a forever president, right? He's not like Xi Jinping or Putin, where he doesn't have that much time to do what he needs to do, right? So he can't really take his time in a way. But I'm positive, man. Be positive in the U.S., guys. Don't be negative. I would. These are like I said. These are the best times to buy. Even down here, if you think you missed a boat, you really haven't, right? Look at the oversold. We're not even overbought or nothing. Like I would rather buy here, right, than buy at these higher levels. And like I said, a lot of big firms were getting burnt as well earlier. Like I was reading, reports and listening to other PMs. They were buying, right here, like around this area, 55.69. They were nibbling, and then when that Wednesday came out with the extra reciprocal tariffs, it caught everyone off guard. That it caught everyone by surprises. It basically took what do you call? If someone punches you out of nowhere. It just happened. Took a gut punch at the same time as well, and everyone, a lot of people were hurting, even other firms, asset managers as well. But it looks like they were buying here, and then again they're like, oh, we're also buying at these levels here. A lot of people were saying 45, 47, 4,800. There's a lot of 4,700 levels, and sure enough, people were nibbling here. And this was the start, and then this is when he announced the pause. Pull back because of the China tariff still lingering. So basically, these here, after this large move up with the 90-day pause, following that was the China, because we haven't made anything with China or had any talks, even though Trump says he wants to deal with China. And China says the same thing. China says, oh, we wouldn't mind a fair deal with the US. It's like, I mean, might as well just start your talks. You guys are already saying y'all wouldn't mind making deals, but y'all just sit there like, man, just talk already. Y'all said y'all both want to make a deal, a fair deal. Then just freaking talk, man. What's the big deal? What's the problem? To me, that's a type of initiation that we're all gonna talk. Come on, man. Just put the egos aside. Think about the people, right? Like us. I got hurt too. I'm not 100%, I'm not a mind reader. I'd be lying to your faces if I told you I make money every single day, every month, never had a losing day. I'd be straight lying to your face. But no. Basically, the market's just one big puzzle, right? The market's one big puzzle. You try to fit as many pieces together. That way, when you decide to invest in something, there's a higher probability of your stock working and you gaining profits as well. But a lot of this happened was unprecedented. Like even it's something that I couldn't predict as well. A lot of people didn't. I was gonna say a lot of investors, like even financial firms, got hit because they didn't know that Trump was gonna actually go through with it. Right? Even with the higher percentages, Sure, some maybe did know, but I don't work at Goldman Sachs. I mean, we're like a fish in the ocean, right? And they're the big sharks. But there's but smaller firms didn't know. Not every firm knows everything, right? I mean, for me, dude, I work for a large asset managers, with now I think they manage over $2 trillion of assets under management. And when I was working for them, some of the investments we had They freaking went to $0. I don't know who were behind. You got all these people with CFAs, you know, master's degrees, everything, PhDs, and some of the stuff we invested in, I don't understand what, like, some of them didn't even exist. And this was not that long. This was maybe like 2015. And these were like, all of them were like international companies as well. That's why I said it's hard for me to invest in international stocks, just because of what I seen when I used to manage these portfolios and what we held in them. A lot of these companies were like shell companies. Like I remember we invested like in one of the largest veterinarian chains in China. Fugazi, exactly. We invested like in a large veterinarian chain, one of the largest veterinarian chains in China, and it turned out to be like like some corner store, dude, some liquor store, like the location. I'm like, what the heck, dude? And it never existed, man. So we had to value basically we had to write it at cost, right? So we had to take it was basically valued at zero, and that we weren't gonna get our money back. So yeah, I saw that. And most of them were Chinese firms too. Yeah, Luckin Coffee. Yeah, I think one of my followers lost all his money on Luckin Coffee. I remember he mentioned it. I mean, it's thriving now in China, but Luckin took all the U.S. investors' money, like, out of here, bro. Yo, guys, on the stream, I'm available for hire if you guys want, you know, equity research or market research. On the link, I have an Upwork link. If you guys are interested, I can do as contract work or consulting. If you guys are interested, you know, because I'm not live on TikTok all the time, so you know, I do other stuff on the side. Self-employed, by the way. I'm a stay-at-home dad, essentially. But if you guys are interested in my work, you know, check out the Upwork, or just message me on TikTok, or send me a message. Oh. Oh, dude. Oh, you hear him? You hear Rick? You hear Ricky? Ricky! Rick Santelli. Bro's talking about inflation. Yeah, but if I was going based off technicals, the market has work to do. These EMAs here, have you noticed? We tried to break out, but then we couldn't. We tested here, got denied, and again here. So we're like range bound here. So I think we're waiting for some type of news, or maybe this could be a bull flag. This could be a bull flag if you think about it. If we maybe something like this. Maybe we'll head up higher.
products. So the Commerce Ministry said that if President Trump raises tariffs again, China would ignore what it's calling his numbers game. Now, the focus here is to provide support for Chinese exporters, and it looks as though some of that is not only coming from the government, but also from the private sector. JD said that it's going to buy $27 billion worth of Chinese exports this year to sell into the Chinese market. Alibaba's grocery chain Bama said it would help fast-track exporters to sell into China. And then to diversify markets further on a government level, the Chinese President Xi Jinping had met with the Spanish Prime Minister here and called on Europe to help China resist, quote, unilateral bullying. And of course, the irony here is that up until recently, the U.S. and Europe have been side by side trying to stop China from what they describe as coercive and unfair trade practices. Guys?
I know it's funny how like China contradicts itself sometimes, because like he wants to unify, you know, Europe and China to work together, but like at the same time, didn't they just find like, didn't Ukraine just capture two Chinese
I think it's looking really bad. I mean, we have
people fighting for Russia? What? That doesn't make sense. You gotta tread the lines carefully.
I've had a number of U.S. companies say that they're not necessarily going to be coming to China for a fair that's supposed to happen next week because of the level of the.
Gotta be careful, man.
Also, others saying that they've stopped their shipments. So there's definitely going to be an impact, and that's probably the reason why the government, as well as the private sector, is looking to try to support those Chinese exporters as much as they can.
And I would add to that, it's really hard to tell what's going on with the stock market and the bond market and the dollar and what's going on there because it's also managed.
Let's see. Let's see other market internals.
Oh, no, absolutely. It's very difficult.
246 advancing 253. All right, so we haven't really moved.
The state funds had come in, the national team.
Market's trying. I think cooler heads will prevail eventually. Now they just gotta discuss and talk. That's it, man. What do you guys think? Just relax. Just sit down and talk to each other, man. Quit being little kids, dude.
All of this that we're watching in the bond market, because that's where we're seeing sharply higher yields. As Rick said, we're not at the highs of the year yet in terms of the close, but
Bruh.
moving fast. And
Gonna affect businesses, man.
So triple whammy of selling stocks, selling bonds, selling the U.S. dollar, and
Come on, man. I'm just trying to, you know, these guys make millions of dollars, everything. While us, the consumer, man, we're just trying to rub two quarters together, dude. We're just trying to rub two quarters together while they count their dollars, their print machine, right? If only that, exactly, if they only had that mindset, dude. Man, that's enough, dude. You got people talking. Just talk to China. That's it. And Europe, better be careful getting too close to China too, man. Just not saying, but the fact that Ukraine found Chinese citizens fighting for Russia, better be careful. Apparently there was a deal with Japan that Trump saw, like a contract said that. So okay, so we give Japan our, you know, our military stuff, right? And we train them and everything. But in the contract it says, obviously if Japan gets attacked, the U.S. will help them, right? But if the U.S. gets attacked, Japan doesn't have to help the U.S. Like what? What kind of BS shit is that, dude? What kind of military deal? Man, is nobody reading these stuff? That's some bull crap, dude. And a lot of that stuff we give Japan for free, man. A lot of the equipment we pay for it, they don't. And in the contract it says Japan doesn't have to help the US if the US gets attacked. But we have to help Japan if they get attacked. What? Heck nah, bruh. Ain't no way.
dollar relative to other weeks in
I know
history.
now I'm getting into
That's
politics and
not
stuff,
good,
but
but you can see what, like,
if that is
outsized
true, and
tariff
Japan has denied that, so I'm assuming it's true. They haven't denied any of that stuff.
here's just another key thing.
So I'm
33%.
gonna assume it's true.
That's how much U.S. debt and U.S. stocks are owned by foreigners. It's a
That's
huge
debt and
number.
stock. That's
It's
equity.
debt and stock.
Yeah,
So it's
right.
about a third, a little more than a third of the U.S. bond market,
Yep.
and a significant chunk of U.S.
Skyla.
stocks as well. It just means that when this unwinds, it's a risk. And if you're going to pick a fight with the world on trade, that's a risk. I don't want to be too doomy and gloomy here, but that's what folks in the markets are watching. There's good news today too. I mean, the good news today is that the real economy heading into all this is doing okay. PPI coming in at the negative number, wholesale inflation negative 0.4%. That was good to see. Credit card spending. Bank of America put out a credit card spending number. They say for the month of March up 2.2%. Retail sales looks good. So consumers are continuing to spend. JP Morgan, CFO this morning on the call talking about retailers and consumers in America. I thought sounded very positive. Listen.
We have seen some of the retailers and other folks talking about weaknesses in the lower income segment. And I think when we look at our card data and also, our cash flow versus people's checking accounts, of course, it is true that it is relatively weaker in the lower income segment. But when you take a step back,
I don't know if anyone's watching from the next door. If anyone is, just say hi.
lower, and you see some rotation of spend, and spending is a little bit weaker than it was in the peak spending moments. But actually, some of the increases in spending that we're seeing in April are actually coming from the lower income segment.
Increases in spending in the lower income. Aside from that, I mean, we don't want to see weakness on the low income, but we've heard that on every quarter from retail and banks in the last year and a half.
Oh, so I think we'll just chop around here for a while.
Worries out there. I haven't seen it so far from Morgan. I mean, they're
Let's
all
see.
sounding the alarm that it's out there, but
Absent President Trump's decision to engage in a worldwide trade war, I mean, our economy would be in a very good place.
very good place. And we would be fighting these negative
And
inflation
Q.
numbers.
I mean,
We've been waiting for a
talking
negative
about a
sign.
Fed cut, right?
Inflation numbers, they're definitely helpful, they're benign, but it is hard to separate
NASDAQ. All the charts look the same for now.
from the confidence shock. I mean,
Some are performing better than others. Like I know the NASDAQ's up, but like
so I mean,
the semiconductors are really weak right now. So if you look at even like Texas Instruments, I mean it got down. It's up from the lows, but that was a nasty fall.
trying to sort out, honestly, I think what the market's trying to sort out
But it's a good price either way. Like I love Texas Instrument. This is a stock I would have for the long term. Like I would buy this here. I'd rather buy this now than buying it up at these levels, right? Ton of cash flow, and I think a private equity or an investment management firm has a stake in this company. Not recently at a lower price than this. So, and I think they're still holding. So they're down on their money if they haven't added. But I know there's a large investor that bought pretty big stake at a higher price than this. So I like Texas Instruments, and you get paid a dividend. How much they pay? $1 and what was it? Oh, wait, $1.36 per share. Yeah, get paid a little something. Lyondell Basil I like as well. They're one of the largest chemical companies in the world. You're still gonna buy food, right? All your food comes in packages, stuff like that. Plastic. There's more plastic used now in things than ever before. No matter, we're gonna need it, right? And it's not like the economy's closed. Like this is trading like pandemic prices. Like when the entire world was still closed. There's no need for this to be this low. This was pandemic 2019 right here. It's 2019, 2020. This is pandemic levels right here. This is when essentially the entire world was shut down for a lot of countries, and it's trading at these levels. What? No, it shouldn't be this cheap. To be honest. I don't believe so. And you get paid a dividend while you wait as well. And for a lot of the chemicals too. I know there's tariffs and stuff, but like Trump hasn't put tariffs on chemical stocks or on plastic. China hasn't either. You know, these were excluded, and same with oil and gas. That was excluded as well in the tariffs. And like I said, Lyondell Basil has you know, facilities in every country: China, Europe, India, U.S. So yeah, maybe China will do less deals in the U.S. Maybe, like I said, they're gonna buy less products, but I mean, Lyondell Basil has factories in China. They're gonna make a ton of money in China then, right? Plus, China's gonna start supporting the economy. I think they're gonna put stimulus in China as well, kind of like how we did, maybe a little differently, but they're gonna accelerate that. So that's gonna be money for chemical companies over there. And Europe is actually starting to get better. The economy's getting better in Europe. Europe's economy actually is outperforming the U.S. this year, and that's good for Lyondell Basil. I mean, it doesn't make sense to be this cheap, in my opinion. All the chemicals, you get Dow Chemical too. I'm not sure if Dow Chemical is not that far from my house, but like Dow Chemical, I mean, this is like, I don't even know. I know this was a spin-off from DuPont, so it's not that old. I mean, it's an old company, but like being public, it's not that old.
What about what's happening in the bond market?
Time frame.
The selling at a time where equities are nervous. The selling of U.S. bonds, U.S. dollar, U.S. stocks simultaneously.
Yeah, this is trading like if the market was closed. As if the entire world is shut down. It's not. World's still moving. So like Dow Chemical. You got all the chemicals. Eastman Chemical. The large ones are like Eastman, Dow, Lyondell. You got Air Products. I like oil and gas too. Oil and gas might be a little tough just because they have competition from electric cars, and like I said, cars these days are way fuel efficient, very fuel efficient. So people are gonna not drive as much, right? Or they're gonna waste as much gas because it's fuel efficient. So I like the big diversified oil and gas. So like Exxon, Chevron, refiners actually did good as well. Refineries, you know, because refiners have to buy the oil, right, from the producers, and refiners are buying it cheap. We're getting the oil for cheap right now. Sonico, I think they're a distribution of crude. Very good. I think it's the largest one in the U.S. Sonico. I like SLB. Oh, sorry. SLB, Schlumberger. I know it's weak right now. I know people are hurting, but Schlumberger, what time works? Anytime, bro. Anytime works for me. Were you able to get a response from the office by any chance or no? Damn. Schlumberger. Like I said, these are levels you want to buy, right? Schlumberger down here at these levels. There was some support here. Alright, bro, sounds good, man. I'll see you soon, bro. Drive safe, man. Enjoy your workout.
A little bit, even in early March. If you get the data points that came out of the big conferences in March, things were slowing a little.
Slowing, but not recession,
Not recessionary, but
and they were starting to come back a little actually in March and April.
I think that the general consumer was slowing. I mean, a company like Walmart with their 2% of GDP or whatever their revenue is told you things were lighter. And I think it was more than just literal. I think airline stuff's a little, government specific and other stuff that's going through there.
Yes, still down a little bit for the day.
Really falling off a cliff. So I
Pulling
think the next
back
thing
now.
to get negative on in the pair trade is first trade is you short the bad companies and consumer, Target and Kohl's and all those kind of things. I think the second phase is there's still a lot of expensive consumer companies out there where people are expecting decent growth and they're not going to deliver. So why is Chipotle deserve to trade at 37 times earnings if they don't grow double digits or Hyatt or Wingstop or Carvana? Like you can go down the list and find a lot of short ideas heading into earnings.
And we got to end there. Thank you.
Yeah, it was good to see you guys.
Yeah, we will.
All right.
As we head to break, here's our roadmap for the rest of the hour. A flood of big bank earnings out today. What the latest results and commentary are saying about the health of financials and the whole
Market
system.
pulling back.
Wild week of trading for the Mag 7 names. We'll take a closer look and tell you about some big analyst calls within the group.
And retail investors still buying despite this dramatic volatility. Well, where's their money
Let's
going?
look at the market internals now. We got 130 advancing, 369 declining. Market's a little weak again. Basically at the open. We're basically where we're at the open as far as price levels. Yeah. The 30-minute chart. Any stocks you guys want to look at? Feel free to add to the chat. Here we go. I think we're just gonna chop around for the day. It is Friday. Not sure if people want to hold into the weekend, but we'll see. Do 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 do. Market going down. Market internals getting weaker, 89 advancing now. A lot more red on the screen. Let's look at industrials. United Rentals. Let's see. No, United Rentals oversold. See, I like these. I like United Rentals. HRI Herc Rentals as well. Large equipment.
In the middle of those, David, a very mixed response this morning, perhaps a reflection of the continued uncertainty that's out there. Despite decent first quarter numbers and stable outlooks, the earnings call, as I mentioned, for the three on
JP Morgan up.
every analyst question on the JP Morgan call seems to encompass some kind of macro question, unsurprisingly. Chairman and CEO Jamie Dimon said many of the issues will be resolved for better or for worse in the next 4 months, but Dimon reiterated his belief that geopolitical risk is paramount.
Oh man. Market pulling back some more. Market pulling back some more here. Okay, now bouncing. Now we're bouncing. Oh, the market's very finicky. You know, during these times it's kind of hard. You know, it's like you want to stir in your hands, but you also want to buy, and you don't want to get left behind. I mean, even at these prices, I like these levels here for a buy. This is a nice pullback. If you think you missed it, you didn't see it. Basically, it gave up 50% of this large bar, so I think you're getting opportunity to get in or to scale in, right? You can buy a little bit. If it falls more, you can add more. But for now, I mean, I think the worst is over for now, and I think the market's just taking a breather from what everything happened.
Have you heard anything, Leslie, about, I mean, I played a little bit of a soundbite from JP Morgan CFO, not seeing a lot of distress with the consumers, but just, you know, the fact that we have credit risk rising, banks usually have a pretty good idea of what's happening on the credit side. It's really strong.
What we got going for the bulls is,
there's another one from this morning, the Wells Fargo call where they talked about the consumer, and Charlie Scharf, the CEO there, said, I was just pulling that up real quickly, that their internal indicators continue to point toward the strength of our consumers.
yeah, consumer strong, you know.
Interested in hearing that. Consumers have remained resilient, and debit and credit card spending patterns have remained stable. An interesting thing also that we heard on the JP Morgan call from CFO Jeremy Barnum was this idea that a lot of the spending patterns they think are attributed to some of the pull forward effects where
We're still oversold on the weekly as well on the S&P. We still have room to go to the upside. There's room. There's room. You know, could we come back down? Yeah, certainly. But I think the worst is priced in for now. See, China said it's gonna stop retaliating. Now let's just get the two guys at the table to talk to the two countries. Nike's down. Any stocks you guys? Wow, look at Nike. UPS.
He predicted that ultimately the Fed will step in there. He said based on rules and regulations. I'm not sure which rules and regulations he was referring to on that front. He said they don't have an.
But longer term, I like UPS, right? One of the largest package delivery services in the world. FedEx too. These are the transportations. Old Dominion Freight. Trump better talk soon. Let's see. Old Dominion Freight oversold as well on the weekly. Yeah, so a lot of stocks are still oversold. I mean, they're still at good levels to invest in, I believe. Could we go lower? Sure, but I mean, would you rather buy here or up here? I mean, these prices are better. I just say sure, it could go lower. It might not go lower. I can't really predict the future, but just because it's been so much like news driven, you know, it's hard to predict to do the technical analysis on, right? But if I had to take a chance, I'd buy stocks in this price. What up, Colin? You got a lot of Eli Lilly. Let's look at it. Lilly, like you bought the dip, like you bought it around here. Eli Lilly. Nvidia. Yeah, Nvidia. That was a good price actually. $690. Yeah, bro. Just be careful with this one, just in case, because I know Trump did mention he might put tariffs on pharmaceuticals. So just with Eli Lilly, be careful. Also, because it's had a huge run up as well. But I do love its prospects. I mean, make sure its pipeline is make sure that its current pipeline can withstand what it has currently out in the market, right? Because eventually, you know, competition will be out there as far as when when the patents expire and things like that. Nvidia. Wow, Nvidia is nice. I remember like last month, people like analysts were saying they want Nvidia. Like if they can get Nvidia in like the 80s, they would be buyers of. And what was the lowest it went to? 86. Yeah. And sure enough, look at that. It got down to the 80s. 88, $87 range for Nvidia. All the tech companies too. Even Google's cheap. See, I thought Google right here at 164 was decently priced. Not just me, a lot of analysts too. But news, the type of news we've been having just doesn't matter. Your technical analysis doesn't work when you have changing events like that, like what's been happening. Your technicals doesn't really matter at this point. Until things start calming down. Same thing here, like when we were raising interest rates. When was 2020? Was it 21? And all the techs were falling because of interest rates hikes. It just there wasn't no stop. Eventually, nobody knew where really the bottom was, but eventually, people kind of just forgot about it. Like the markets just showed like okay, whatever, right? And sure enough, it started going higher and higher, making all-time highs, right? And this is while interest rates are still high. Nothing has really changed that much in interest rates, and Google continues to make new highs. The economics in the U.S. business still strong with the high interest rates. I mean, it's been like almost 3 years with high interest rates, and U.S. has been resilient so far. Whoops, my bad, guys. My bad. My bad. My bad, guys. But yeah, so this could be the same thing too. Eventually, the market will kind of start shrugging this off. I'm sure the U.S. and China are gonna talk. They're gonna have to. They're too intertwined for them not to talk, man. And there's no way you can decouple 100%. So we're gonna have to. And I think the market would take that as positive, and I think we might have seen the bottom in the market for now, just because of the 90-day pause, right? And the president being proactive and trying to make deals with countries, right? He's trying to get them done as fast as he can. At the rate that he's moving, he has leaders talking and stuff like that. Now we just need China. That's pretty much it. We need China to come to the table. But two big superpowers, big egos, lock in China. I like China as well, man. But not invest, like, I don't invest in Chinese stocks just because I used to work at a large asset management firm, and I used to see the stocks that we held, the Chinese stocks, and some of them went to zero. Like, I don't know what happened, but some of them turned out they didn't exist at all. Or they were lying about whatever that they did. And when we did further research, just like the company was located like a hospital chain, right? Oh, we were in this hospital chain. It turned out to be just some liquor store. And we had to value the security at zero because there was no way to value it. So, and then, unless I knew the Chinese economics, if I lived there, then maybe, yeah, I would invest in China. But I'll stay away from from that. I wouldn't mind investing in like a stock that does business with China, like say Apple, right? Apple, other industrials, things like that, chemical companies, like for instance Dow Chemical, right? Dow Chemical has a lot of sites in China. Sure, maybe the U.S. market will be weaker, but maybe the Chinese market will be stronger. I mean, China's going to start adding a lot of stimulus into their economy because of these tariffs, and they want more people to start spending. They want their people to start spending money. So there's going to be a lot of stimulus going in China, and that's going to help, like I said, manufacturing companies that are in China. Like I said, Dow Chemical, LyondellBasell, right? So they're not just dependent on the U.S. for growth, and they got Europe too, right? Do you day trade? Sometimes, not all the time though, Colin. I do other things on myself. Like I don't stream every day in my trading. I mean, because I give away a lot of this stuff for free, man, and like I'd rather get paid for it, So sometimes I don't stream. I just go on and do other stuff. But it's a lot of work, man. Like staring at a screen for like 8 hours a day, and not just giving free stuff away. It took me a long time to learn this, man. Like I started learning trading when I was 21, and I'm 30. I'm 35 now, dude. But it took me like I started like at 21, 22, but it took me about 4 years to be really good at it, to find my niche and how to trade. A good 4 years. And that's also was working a full-time job. Probably that's why it took longer, because I was working a job and learning. But it took about 4 years. And I also had a mentor as well. He's no longer, well, I think he's still alive, but like my mentor was from back in 2011, 2012 when I met him. So this was before social media stuff, before Twitter and TikTok. There wasn't a lot of mentors, trading mentors, but now you got a bunch of gurus that, like, I can't tell. Like, I'm not gonna trust like an 18-year-old saying, "Oh yeah, I made this much money in the stock market. Follow me." And gonna what? 18? Come on, man. It's not that easy. Unless you just got lucky, like some people got lucky, right? But that's kind of like gambling in a way, if you're going based off luck all the time. Yeah, I do the heavy lifting, the heavy research, so I can stay in the business long term, essentially. That's pretty much what it is. It's trying to, like any other business, you do your research, get as many, like the market's one big puzzle, right? You find as many pieces as you can, so it makes it easier for you to make your decisions, right? You're not gonna find every single piece. It's almost impossible unless you're like know something that in the inside that, but I don't think that's legal. But but that's basically it. You just get many puzzles, put the puzzles together as many as you can, so it makes it easier for you to trade and to make money. But yeah, and like I said, I work for a lot of financial. I have experience. I have over 10 years. I guess my entire career, I just worked for a lot of management firms. Portfolio managers, things like that. Now I just manage like my family's funds and stuff, and then I'll do some consulting on the side, or if someone's interested, you can message me for a price. If there's any financials advisors out there, you know, or portfolio managers, you know, that want my research, you know, reach out to me. Send me a message. I also have stuff on Upwork as well, on the link for hire. I'm not that cheap, so you know, it took me many years to learn this. I'm not gonna go cheap at it, right? And I paid for it too. It's not like something I learned for free. I paid, just like going to college. I paid someone to teach me. But like I said, these days there's a bunch of gurus out there. Compared to when I started learning, right? 2011. Like I said, my mentor is not here anymore. I mean, I think he's still alive, but I know he retired. Like I think back in 2016, 2017, because I couldn't find him anymore. I was looking for him, and he took down his website. He had a lot of really good YouTube videos as well, like free stuff, like on YouTube. And he took everything, like everything's gone. Even his, sometimes like I used to go back to his YouTube videos because just for a refresher, but they're all gone. So I would send the link to you guys, but he took them down. I'm basically, so when I'm teaching like for free, like right now, a lot of it's is from what he taught me, basically. So yeah, you can learn and have a regular job at the same time. It just might take you a little while, but that's okay, right? Because you're gonna lose money at first. That's what I tell everybody. You're gonna probably lose money at first because you gotta get mentally, you gotta get prepared, and then you kind of gotta have to. Your brain has to like almost like a sponge, right? Your brain just gonna have to get used to it, right? To you having a loss. Because when you take a profit, it's like awesome, right? But like the losses hit different mentally. So that's probably one of the hardest things to learn, and that's why a lot of people give up. Is because they can't handle the loss. But if you can get over that and find your trading strategy that fits you, then you have a lot of upside for yourself and to stay in the business longer. You know, because like I said, us traders, we're going against the big boys, you know? We're going against the Goldmans, the JP Morgans, and things like that. But most of the time, I do a lot of research, you know. So if you guys want research on the side, I can do that as well. And for a price. And in times like this is the hardest. These is probably like the best times to learn as well. When you have something like this, this is when it really tests you. You really get tested mentally when you have drop-offs like this, sell-offs like this, man. It's draining. It hurts. So you start doubting yourself a lot. But if you can get through that, through something like this, I think you can be a successful trader. You definitely can. It's just a lot of people, when they learn and trade, this is the best time to learn. At times like these. Because this will prepare you physically for when it happens again. You already know. It's like mentally you got to stay focused, you know. Like learning right here, like when the bull market, like these pullbacks here, these small ones, see how the market just keep going higher, small pullback here and there. Like this is easy. This is the easiest time to trade. Easy. Yeah, maybe you had this little scare here, but still, it's nothing like this. This here, this makes or breaks a trader here. Falls like these. All of them can't stomach the loss. You know? So I try to tell people, if you can get through this, like, these are the best times to learn during these times here. Because most of the time the market's up, right? If you notice, the market stays up longer than it does down, right? It doesn't stay down that very long. So when the market finally tanks, falls like this, you know, like you have like 5% down, people panic. Like you know, traders, younger traders panic. You know, people that are still learning, they panic, and then they gave up, right? Because they couldn't do it. But try to look at the long picture, right? That's why I don't like being a day trader, because of stuff like this. I like more of a swing trader, because I know I can hold it for longer. I can hold my stocks for longer, right? So, and a lot of people, that's what a lot of people did. A lot of people sold some, but still, some of them bought like here. We're at this EMA. A lot of people were seeing this and were buying, and then the Trump reciprocal tariffs came in. It took everybody by surprise, right? They didn't think he was going to actually apply those larger tariffs, and it just blindsided everyone. And so even other firms were hurt, not just little guys, even the big guys got hurt. And so then they're looking for price levels. A lot of them were saying, like, you know, 4,500, 47, 4,800. We met somewhere in the middle. 4,800 is where we got to. Let me see. Let's see if I can get the SPX. Cash index, S&P 500, we got to 48.24. Yeah, and that was like a what, 12% pullback, they said? That's big. Obviously this big green bar, this is when Trump announced the 90-day pause and the market skyrocketed. This is the weekly chart. So today, right, it's the last day of the week. We're going to see where this is going to close. You notice there was resistance here. You see this blue EMA? There's a lot of people seeing these levels, and they sold it off. Right here, they sold it. See these here? Here. But a lot of this was news driven as well, though. Once China talks happen, you know, the market's going to be happy and it's going to start grinding higher again. Like I said, eventually it's going to happen. They're going to have a sit down, and the market's going to take that for a positive. I think the market's just wondering how long that's going to take, right? The longer it takes for them to talk, you know, the market's just going to struggle, right? So for now, the market's just like, after the reciprocal tariffs here, green, pulled back because China said, except for China, right? And then the market sold off. And they're going back and forth. And now Trump says he wants to make a deal. China says they want to make a deal. They said it themselves, they want to. But who's going to make that call first, right? That's the problem. It's kind of dumb. It's dumb. Just freaking call, dude. Who's going to make that call first? Just sit down and talk to each other. Trump said Xi Jinping is a great friend. Alright, friends talk, right? If you guys are great friends, then y'all would talk, right? So, we'll see. We'll see. If I'm looking at technicals based, resistance here is kind of forming like a pennant here on the 4 hour. It's good to see that the market hasn't really fallen below these lows here, so it might form some kind of flag, or maybe you'll retest these levels here and then come back almost like a M. If it does this like an M pattern, like an M, and then we just kind of just chop around until something comes out. I think that's what the market's waiting for. There's some news. I think. Oh yeah, and companies what they're reporting earnings now. The banks reported decent earnings. But even the bank CEOs are unsure, right? What other stocks? Okay. All right, that's that. And the Nasdaq. Nasdaq looks the same as well. Very similar pattern. The Nasdaq and the Dow Jones. Dow Jones as well. Look, they all look identical essentially. If I go by sector, oil, man, oil's a tough one. Oil has a lot of things going against it. Oh, what up, Amia? Hey, a long time. How are you? I hope you're doing better now. The market's kind of up. Yeah, for oil, the problem oil has is, the weakened economy. Where everyone's saying that the economy's gonna be weaker, so that's bad for oil, right? Not only that, you also got electric cars, right? China's making a ton of electric cars for really cheap, and that's affecting oil pretty bad as well. And sure, oil is important and everything, but it has a lot more competition than what it had like over 10 years ago, right? It's not the same. You got, and gas cars are more fuel efficient now, right? You're getting gas cars hitting almost 50 miles per gallon compared to when they used to be only like, the average used to be like 20, 25 miles a gallon, right? You got all that in play. So we really need the economy to get stronger to have oil hold up or something. Anything, you got OPEC, I think, increasing supply. So if there's a weakened economy and more supply, then there's going to be too much supply, right? But hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully you can find some kind of middle ground where it helps everybody, right? If we can stay in the 70s, yeah, I think that helps everyone. I don't want people to lose their jobs that are working in oil and gas. I don't want them to lose their jobs, right? I went through that back in 2015. I went through it and it sucked. Oh, Nvidia's cooking? That's good, man. Dell? Oh, man. I know. I thought it reported earnings too. But it is trying. Look, it's trying. It's about to, it's like 50% of the, of taking this. This is when they reported earnings right here. And it tanked. And now it's recovering 50% of the bar, or reported earnings, which is good. That's what you want to see. For Dell. So I would hold Dell. Just my opinion. Not a financial advisor. But I love Dell. And I love Nvidia as well. So hold on to them. I know a lot of people were asking about Nvidia like 80s. A lot of analysts and firms like a month ago were talking about they would pick up Nvidia in the 80s. And they got there, right? It got to like 87. So this was the perfect spot to buy. Look, sure enough. Sure, there's resistance, but listen, a lot of stocks are at resistance now. So either we just kind of just chop or head higher. One of those two. I'm hoping the latter. I hope this is it and we go higher, right? But we really need those talks, man. With China, we really need that to help. At least for the market to stay. Market did stabilize a little bit, but it would be more helpful if we can start talking with China. For sure. Because a lot of this is news driven, right? And I used to say news events that's like changing events, like almost life changing events. Those I would put that ahead of technical analysis. So the news would come first, and then technicals matter after that. And that was happening when the reciprocal tariffs came out. That they were much higher than what people were anticipating. Forget it. Your technicals are cooked, because it was about to break out here. It was about to break out of the downtrend. You know, because they thought he was only going to slap to 10%. Like, sure, grind higher, but no. And so the downtrend continues. See all of these or spots to short. It's just hard to short these because it's news driven, right? Any type of news could affect this. Like here, right? This was news based. You know, if you're short, if you're still short, caught short, man, you got kicked in the face. You would have lost almost all your gains, man, if you were short. So now there's like a middle ground. It's like it pulled back to like 50% of this bar here. So now it's just like coin flip. You think you bought it at 95? Which one, Amia? Dell? Dell or Nvidia? I think you meant Nvidia, right? Oh shit, that's nice, dude. That's nice, Amia. Congratulations. Good deal. Like it too. See, it's holding up. This is what I'm hoping. This is what I'm hoping the market does. Pulls back to these levels. See how it pulled back 50%, and then kind of rounds out. Hopefully you can do something like this. Create like a shoulder. Just head higher. Something like that. Oh shoot! I'm sorry. I can't even see that. But yeah, I see maybe like an inverted head and shoulders on Nvidia here. Oh shoot! Man, well, let me move. So here's the left shoulder. Here's the head. Here's the other shoulder. The right shoulder here. It's good to see that. See how it bottomed here, but it didn't make new lows, so it made kind of like a W. This is pretty strong. A signal that the downtrend is possibly over. You know, like I said, I'm just trying to put the pieces together. But news events can crush all this, man. What I said could be just crushed if anything news comes out related. Especially with Trump, it's been very erratic. Let's see. Let's look at the monthly. Oh, I haven't seen the monthly chart yet. That's one. And what you got going for you is that we're still oversold on the RSI. If you look at the weekly chart, this is for NASDAQ, S&P, Dow Jones. We're way oversold. We're still down here, so we have room to go higher, right? Maybe we could pull back here. See a pullback, head higher. But at these levels, yeah, I would buy stocks down here still. Look how much room we have to go higher. A ton of room. But we'll see. We'll see. Or like you said, we could bottom. We could do one more low. That's possible as well. Kind of like we could just kind of drag down one more time before heading higher. Essentially, that is possible as well. So basically, this here, follow me like this. So one more lower low, and then start grinding higher. That could happen as well. especially if stuff drags on. I don't want it to happen, to be honest. I'd rather have the market up. But that's a scenario, guys. It's just a scenario. Could happen. Or it can be a V-shaped recovery. V-shape is like if we don't have like another low. If we make another low, that'd be more like a W. Like a W shape. You can't really tell, but it's like this. Kind of like a W. V-shape would be just, it's over, right? We wouldn't have that pullback anymore. So you got those two scenarios at work right now that hasn't been played out yet. Oh, man. What do you guys think? Ready for the weekend, guys? I'm ready. Let's look at other stocks. Google hanging in there too. All the tech stocks are doing pretty well. As in like tech, big tech. Google, Microsoft as well hanging in there. Oracle. Wait, never mind. Except for Oracle, I guess. I think they got exposure with China and that TikTok stuff. Cisco's holding in there. Dell's holding in there. So this is large tech. Salesforce a little weak. You got Accenture. Damn, Accenture's getting crushed too. I like Accenture. Accenture's I would look into this one too. I know I've been wanting to pick up Accenture for a long time. Now it's getting at levels that, look how oversold this is. This is on a weekly chart. ADP. Yeah. Who else? So that's semiconductors. Texas Instruments too. I've been looking at for a while. Texas Instruments. Oh my gosh. Inactivity? Why? Oh my gosh, what happened? Sorry if you can't see the live. My bad. I'm not sure what happened. Sorry. But yep. What is this? this my thing froze? No.
It is a positive, perhaps, to go into this with high levels of capital.
Market pulling back.
Reform that was done post-president
Let's look at our market internals.
helpful to what we're seeing, and while we're not right now at
98 advancing, 403 declining. So we have gone down a little bit. We are pulling back. Basically at the open. Looks like we're just chopping around.
And again, here it's somewhat conjecture that Scott Bessent walked into the president's office a few days ago and said the bond market is telling you we got this here.
Nike. Man, Nike's hurt really bad. UPS. Jeez. KKR, all the private equity were being hurt too. BlackRock. BlackRock's like the only one that's doing well. Morgan Stanley.
I think it worked in the stock market, but not in the bond market.
We all believe the bond market is the motivating factor here. It doesn't seem to have reversed
It
the
hasn't reversed the bond market decline, and we know that that is what this administration is targeting. So it does raise the question of what else we'll get from the administration if they are worried about the confidence factor and selling bonds.
I would just point out, guys, it worked only for a day, right? You had a huge
Sure, but we're still higher than where we were before we started the week.
Market pulling back again.
Oh no, we definitely haven't come back. Not even close. We're what, 15% off the high still on the S&P, 19 on the Nasdaq. So that's where we are right now.
There's just one thing, which is that one investor told me that it could be that the possibility of just what you guys are talking about is stemming potential losses here. That you would be afraid to be markedly short in this market if there's some possibility of another White House announcement.
Yeah, it just doesn't take much. It takes one post, as we know, in terms of the equity markets. But again, I think we have been rightly focused. The bond market is perhaps more interesting now in terms of what it's saying.
I'll make just one more point, guys, which is that at some point, right now, I think you're right, David. I don't know for sure, but I think you're right. It would take one person. At some point, things can move along that it becomes beyond the ability of just a single person, as in the president, to turn this thing around. That's really where I think you would get nervous if it would require something like either a single or multiple central bank intervention to stop this thing from careening. And I don't think we're there at this point. You want to be very careful about talking about that. But right now, I think you're right, David, and I hope you remain right.
Well, it's going to be another working weekend for everybody on the phone. So thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Sarah.
We heard from BlackRock CEO Larry Fink earlier this morning, weighing in on how tariffs are impacting inflation and economic growth. Here's what he said.
I still remain to be optimistic that things will go
Let's see.
Yes, we have to recalibrate. Yes, I do believe we're probably starting, if not, we're in a recession. Yes, I think the market is still anticipating and underestimating how high inflation can get. If you factor in all the tariffs, you factor in all these other issues, it's going to be quite additive.
Those comments made right around the opening bell at 9:30. 10 o'clock, we get consumer sentiment, a number that came in at its lowest level since June 2022.
Oh no, my
Not great. One-year inflation expectations in that survey, 6.7% over the next 12 months. That's the highest level since 1981. Let's bring in our next guest, TD Cowen President Jeffrey Solomon. He said he wouldn't be surprised by a second-half recession when he joins us over a month ago. The whole world has changed since he last joined us, Jeff. So how are you feeling? Are you being cool?
Yeah, it seems so quaint, right? I mentioned the word recession. It was the beginning of, I guess it was the beginning of March, and you said I was the first person to mention still live in that world. And I'm not sure we know a lot more about where this is going to end up. I think we've seen a lot of things, but I'm not sure we have any more certainty about where it's all going to end than we did, in March. And so that's kind of what we're seeing. I love the conversation about the fixed income markets. I really think this is all about the treasury market at this point.
Well, what do you think is happening right now?
Well, certainly, in our conversations with some of the folks in the administration, I think you hosted, and we've been a part of those. There was an absolute desire to bring along the 10-year into the mid threes and get the debt refinanced. That was part of the strategy. That hasn't happened, and I think there's some real reasons why that hasn't happened. America has the stabilizer, which is what I think Larry Fink said. Which is the role we played since the Second World War. It looks a little shaky, and to the outside world, and I think that's not great. That's not great for people wanting to rush in and buy dollars and buy treasuries, which is kind of what we need to have happen here in order for this to get a clearing signal on when we do reset trade. So, the administration probably sort of called off things for 90 days. We need to do some things to restabilize and let people know that that we're not out to get the whole world, and that it's really important, that they continue to have trust and faith in the United States. That's what I'd be doing if I were sitting in the administration now. I think that's a real thing that needs to be solved.
When it comes to business executives, though, and I know you talk to any number of them as well, Jeff, when I do, a lot of them are just frozen. How can you not be? I just wonder how long that continues, whether you're hearing similar.
Yeah, absolutely. People are putting their plans on